work at the Francis Crick Institute in the light microscopy, and I'm part of a quite big team. So in our team, we have experts in microscopy, we have pure bioimage analysts, we have people looking after microscope and doing quality control, and we have big data software engineer. So what I do is a bit of both, a microscopy, try to phenotype cells and try to acquire multidimensional data set, confocal intravital microscopy, but also a bit of image analysis and software developments. So what happens is that with our job in facilities, what we do is allow researcher to pile up the results of these projects in this very famous bar plot. And actually, it's their bar plots that increase, not so much ours. But basically, this is what we do. We do microscopy image analysis to allow researchers to publish. Now, we use a variety of different tools. We develop ImageJ macro in order to analyze, for example, infiltration of bacteria in gut. We develop cell profile pipelines. We do a bit of Jupyter Notebook bioimage analysis, coupled with some numerical simulation, and segmentation and plugin development in Napari. Now, I would like to show what is the average pipeline for a bioimaging project in our institution. And I will not be very promotional. I'll be honest on what happens. So this won't be, the serious presentation. Oh, we have this very complex workflow like Sebastian has shown. So I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Yeah. So, sorry. Sebastian is very honest in what the facility is capable of doing, but I'm telling the truth what happens out there. So now we start with a very serious project discussion, meaning that we meet maybe 1 hour, 2 hours with users. Everything is fantastic, the type of data they will be generating. And it's not only me, all the, the whole facility, every member can do this. So instead of calling this man Rocco, I called it generic Rocco, which represents the whole facility. Now, if we are lucky, we progress with a microscope training, which means user in principle should be independent and proceed. And this actually results in This actually results in independent user. So in that case, we have an epigeneric Rocco, or it might be a number of assisted sessions, unaware collaboration, because it means you're not aware you have a project going on, but you will have users every day coming to the facility and asking. So in the end, this produces data. And we all know that this is a monster with too many legs, because it means it can, be deposited in our HPC infrastructure, which acts like storage and computing. We call it NEMO. Or it might be a number of hard drives. So every user will have his own hard drive where he copy part of the data. We have as well Dropbox for hopefully small files. And we have an instance of Mero. We have paid the company to install a Mero. We have an engineer dedicated for this. Now, unfortunately, when we do image analysis, the truth out there is that this data moves from one place to another. So we don't have everything just in the storage server, but things will move to the drive. The user will come to the facility, will show us some data, or probably if the server is not available, then we use a Dropbox and copy some of the data. We have Miro as well, so some people will have data on Miro. And I should have drawn a lot of arrows. So all this causes an happiness, a general sense of unhappiness. And this is an happy generic Rocco, facility guy, an happy user because sometimes the server goes down, we cannot copy the data, an happy IT because we should not plug USB stick in our computer, and an happy HPC because we are not fully enjoying the power of computation that they make available for us. Okay, now, what we do is try to develop a variety of different trainings, especially focusing on open source software for bioimage analysis. So, of course, we teach Fiji, how to develop a macro with Fiji, how to develop a pipeline with Cell Profiler, use Napari for 3D rendering, and QPath for analysis of immunohistochemistry or slide scanner type of data. Now, our infrastructure is composed by workstations, which we administer, let's say, in the facility, and we charge for their use. There is this Nemo HPC infrastructure, so we can get access to a shell and submit job in that case. And we also have our instance of on-demand. So there people can just produce Jupyter notebook and run it with the resource of the HPC, or they can use MATLAB or specific flavor of Fiji. Now, all this is great, but actually, if we need to provide some tool, for example, Fiji, it means that the HPC will produce a specific flavor of Fiji, and we have limited flexibility in installing plugin. So our difficulty is also to communicate with HPC people and explain that we want freedom. Regarding the data management, we have quite a large server. We have a full backup and long-term archiving. IT is always pushing us to archive data, which means they want us to put data on this magnetic tape and being located in a different place from the Crick in case the institute expire. We offer services, but the HPC infrastructure is charging for archiving. So they charge about £100 per year, and they also charge for the cost of computation for CPU. I think it's few pennies for CPU per hour. They do not charge at the moment for the use of GPU, so they still didn't develop a cost model for it. We also have our own instance of Mero. There is Kenneth, is our colleague, is taking care of this. And this allowed us to do at least two things. The first is that all the data that come from a microscope demo, they are directly uploaded to a Mero, so users can see the data. We can evaluate the microscope and decide whether purchase it or not. We also push on a Mero acquisition from microscope that are just service only. So it means we don't give the possibility to user to try to save data in different places. We just say, okay, slide scanner is on service, all the data go on Mero. And this allowed us also to move some previously existing database because we didn't have anymore this service, this website, we push it on Mero. Now, my small advice in how to offer facility service in an institute with many, many users is, of course, you should know your field, but when you do service, you should try to cover the basic only, because you cannot do advanced project with everyone. We try to teach regularly, meaning that you have a good training offer for open source software and how to develop macro and script. And you should charge for projects, which means if you think something is more advanced and will require more time commitment, of course, you should ask for a formal project and try to push the authorship guidelines, which means, listen, I'm doing a very serious job for you. This means that I give a scientific contribution, so at least you should include me in the acknowledgement or maybe consider me for an authorship. And that's it. Thank you.